Hi there, we're back for part two. We're going to wire our board, the stuffing onto the board. So you just want to get some wire like this. Make sure you start it enough to finish your project because it does not work really well. If you run out of wire and have to wire them together, it's just not a good thing. So try not to do that. Get your thing of wire, wrap it around the end. And I always wrap it so the wires face me. Just seems to work better for me. But really, you have to try it yourself and see what works best for you. Just wrap it in there so you make sure it's going to stay. And you're putting it right on the end. And I didn't get that tight enough, so now I got to try again. Then I wrap it around that piece that's wrapped around the board. And then wrap it a second time to make sure it stays on there really good. Okay, now. What you're going to do is get a fistful of greens, and really this is goes by, once you get to doing this enough, you can tell by how much you have in your hand whether it's what you want. But you're going to make a bundle and lay it down on your board. And I'll show you my board there. There's that. And then lay it over so it's over the top of the board a little bit. And this is what you're going to be stuffing your greens into to make the great blanket. Okay, so wrap it around twice. That way you're pretty good. You know, you're pretty sure it's going to not come loose. And pull on it a little bit after you get it over around the second time to keep it nice and tight. I don't really like that piece. I'm going to throw that one away. And like I said, you know, you want to get a handful and then put it right, the top part of it right over your board, like this. So, excuse me, so it overlaps just a little bit. Okay. Pull it, wrap it around the second time, and pull it again and keep it tight. So you're just going to do this until you get near the end. And that one I did not cut down enough. And you don't want them really long, so kind of watch that. And if one's too long, you can kind of maybe tuck it under if it's still a good piece. I don't know what that's doing there. I got some white pine that I got for one of the gray blankets that we're going to add to this. A little bit more, like so. Then you're just going to lay it right over top of the other one. Let me see if I can set this up a little bit so you can see a little bit better. There. Trying to adjust it so you can see. Just going to put it right over top of it. And you're going to want to wear gloves. These are my gray blanket putting wood in the furnace gloves, because you got the sap from the branches and you're going to get sap all over the place. Also don't advise you wearing a good coat. This is my outside coat for every day. Go Bucks. Okay, so we're going to see that's kind of long there, so I don't like that. So I'm just going to cut it like that and then use it again and just keep stacking them on top. And once I feel like I've got what I need for the next layer, then I can put that down. Yeah, I don't really like that, so I'm going to add a little bit more to that side. Lay it right over, so the top of your branches are over the wire that you just wired up on the last bunch. And this is what it's looking like. This is what you're going to stick your branches in. Okay, so let's get this bunch done. I did that in a little longer, but I still got space down here, so that's not really going to matter. I try not to do that when I get towards the end, because you don't want a whole bunch sticking out the end of it. Okay, so let's get some more here. And, ooh, that's a nice bunch right there. A little bit more. Okay, and then Wrap it twice, wrap once, pull, wrap twice, pull. Keep it nice and taut. See, with some of them, you can really get a good bunch pretty quickly, and some other times not so fast. Because it just depends on what greens you have and what they look like. Also, if you're pulling that, don't pull too tight because you don't want it to break. But pull tight enough where it's not going to come loose, and it'll keep those branches in there where you want them. Now, I always like making great blankets for my family members, my mom and dad, and Cliff's mom and dad. A little bit more on that one. And since Lindsay's moved and family moved to Florida, I've been making a Seth's great blanket, which is Ronnie's brother. And then I deliver all those to the cemetery. It's always fun to decorate them also. You'll see that. I'll show you that as well. Decorating just as whatever you want. And these two here, making one for Nathan for his mama, and also for Harold for his son. So that's what these two are for. Now see, that was kind of woody. This is what I meant when I talked about woody. It's kind of too woody, so I'll take some of that off. That's still good for the stuffing, but not the wood. Okay, let's see. That's too much wood. Not quite enough. This year I noticed I'm going to have to stock up on ribbon and pine cones. I like the bigger pine cones because they show up better on your gray blanket. So I'm going to have to stock up so I have some for my gray blankets next year. Now this year I did get too many, oops, sorry, out of frame there, my bad. I got too many bundles, but that was okay because I just made up more gray blankets and sold them. So it gave me a little extra Christmas money. So that was kind of nice. And people seem to like my gray blankets, so that's always nice as well. I keep getting out of frame, I'm sorry. There. That might work better. See, there's too much wood left on that one. And make sure you got a good pair of clippers also when you're doing this, so you can get them. Doesn't take as long if you got a good pair of clippers and they have been cleaned and everything before you start from when you used them last time. Okay, now we're getting towards the end, so what we do there, just keep making your for the end, but you see I got a lot right here towards the end. So what I'm going to do is make one more bundle and get some really good ones. Make up my pile in my hand. And make sure you got some really, maybe a little bit more in the end, simply because that's where your end pieces are going to go. So I got my bundle, and I'm going to turn it around like this. And then do that twice till you come right up to the end. And then you got a better ending to stuff your pieces in for your gray blanket. So one more, not quite so long on these pieces as well. You don't want them to stick out a whole bunch. So I'm going to cut this off a little bit and then just put that on there, and that's the last row that I will need. So go around twice and then go around twice once more at the very end. Okay, then pull out on your, wait a minute, pull it out after you do it twice. Okay, I got to take the gloves off because they're getting in my way. Pull it tight and then cut the wire off, and then just wire it into the two pieces that you just wired at the end. Wire it nice and tight to make sure it stays. So that's what it's going to look like on the bottom, and that's what it looks like on the top. So now you have your base to make your gray blanket. Okay, I will be right back. I'll get set up for part 3.